Welcome back to the Columbus Blue Jackets BAGM, and tonight we are tackling the playoffs against the New York Islanders in the first round. So let's look at the New York Islanders lines and see how things are for Jack Capuano's troops. If they don't fire coaches in this game, they're all generic anyway. So they got Nikolai Kulemin with John Tavares and Kyle Okposo as a nasty goal-scoring line. Tyler Kennedy with Franz Nielsen and Michael Grabner. That's nice. They have Ryan Strome with Matt Martin and Cal Clutterbuck. Interesting. I would have put Casey Cizikas with them, but that's just me. Mikhail Grabowski, Anders Lee, and Casey Cizikas on the fourth line. So I would definitely swap the wingers on that. Well, I put Anders Lee on the third line wing and put Grabowski on the third line wing, and I put Martin and Clutterbuck on the fourth line. Or I'd probably actually put Strome on the second or first line and put Tyler Kennedy as that third line center to go with Grabowski and Lee as more of the defensive guy. So these lines are really weird. They spread out the scoring a lot, so we'll see how that goes. Leddy and Boychuk top line. They have Brock Nelson playing forward, so that's an interesting thing to note. Calvin DeHaan and Lubomir Visnovsky on the second line, and Matt Donovan. So Travis Hamonic must be injured. Alright, that's interesting. We'll have to check that out. And they got Yaroslav Halak and Michal Neuwirth, former Washington Capital, on their line. So let's check the injury report for New York and see what's going on. He injured his wrist and he was only out for a little bit. Okay, so both Thomas Hickey and Travis Hamonic are injured, and they'll be back the 21st of April. We are currently in the 14th, so they will be back by Game 4 or Game 5 at the latest. So I don't expect a whole lot going in. The New York Islanders obliterated us during the regular season on several occasions, so I definitely do not expect anything. It would be nice to compete in this series, push it to 6 or 7, but I don't expect that. I expect to, not be swept, but that's about it. I expect to win 1 on our home. So after the first period, it is 2-0. Franz Nielsen and Nick Leddy, 3-1. We'll slow sim the third in case something crazy happens, but Sergei Bobrovsky's just having a really off year. He's carrying it into the playoffs. 4 goals on 29 shots. That's ridiculous. It ended up looking okay in the end because it was 37 shots, but still. He's just not been performing at the level of an elite goaltender, and I feel like a little bit of regression is going to happen in overall. So Nielsen, Leddy, Okposo, Matt Martin, Johansson for us from Mark Letestu and Cam Atkinson. So weird. Must have been during the line change or something. But we'll go on to the second game. And the last playoff run for them at Nassau Coliseum. I had to think about whether it was the Nassau Coliseum or if they'd be in Brooklyn by this point, but it's still year 1. Alright, 2-0 us after the first period. Boone Jenner and Ryan Johansson. So he has 2 goals in 2 games. Jaromir Jagr scores 1 right there. That's awesome. Alright, we got a fourth. Derek Brassard. And they got 1 back. Nikolai Kulemin. Power play, we got another one, 5-1. I'm just waiting to see if they score another goal. Alright, it doesn't look like it. So 25 stops for Bobrovsky right there. We went 6-1. We got another one. So Ryan Johansson, strong start to the playoffs with 3 goals in 2 games. And it's an encouraging sign as we come back with a vengeance right there. And we're headed back to Columbus. So good signs. Boone Jenner, Ryan Johansson, Jagr. So Johansson actually picked up a few points that game. 3 to be exact. And Jagr picked up a couple too, that assist there. So we're headed back to Columbus now. We're trying to win our first game in Columbus, I think, ever. So I don't think they've ever won a playoff game in Columbus. So I think both games they won against Pittsburgh were on the road. So alright, let's go into Game 3 right here. 1-1, Okposo. Dana Terrell scored for us. Scott Hartnell and Nick Leddy for them. So let's go into the third. Alright, Matt Martin got one early on. We can still come back, though. No, Matt Murray got another one. Okay, so he has like 3 goals in the first 3 games. All right, Brian Murray got one from the slot for us. Definitely not a goaltending series. That's for sure. And we're not going to get another one. We'll lose 4-3. Down 2-1 in the series now. And that was a good response by the Islanders. A very goal-heavy game. And consistency seems to be the problem for Bobrovsky. Because he had a really good game last game. I thought he could build on that, but he just immediately went back to this point. Alright. So, game 4, 0-0 after 1. 1-0 Islanders after 2 periods. John Tavares gets one. Ryan Strome here in the 3rd period. 31 shots. Alright, we need to score a goal here. Come on, this is ridiculous. Shouldn't Yaroslav Halak shut you out? Wow. Wow, down 3-1 in the series. I thought we'd win one at home at least. But, guess not. And this episode's probably going to be over a lot sooner than I anticipated. Could almost roll this into like a season episode, but I already have all those rendered out, so John Tavares and Ryan Strome, both their first in the playoffs. We've been doing a good job of eliminating their 2 of their major threats, but at the same point, we go into Game 5, and we're on the road again. So, looks like this is going to be the end of this series, but again, I didn't say I expected 6 or 7 games, so I mean, this is about on par with my expectations if the series ends here. 3-1 after the first period. We're really asking to lose this one. Alright, it evened up in that period. We're only down by 2 goals. We played a strong defensive second period. We can get some offense here. Maybe not. Wow, they got a shorthanded goal. Thanks, Travis Hammond came back. We actually made it really close. It was 4-3. So, that's it. End of the playoffs. Lost in the first round, but it's, again, more than should have even been expected coming into the season because, well, besides coming into the season, we didn't have Yager yet. But, am I happy with the season? Could have really gone either way. There are a lot of great prospects in this draft, so I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world that we necessarily lost, but at the same time, it would have been nice to see the second round for the first time in franchise history. But that for weak first period really lost us the game because if they didn't score those 3 goals in the first period, we would have been up 2-1, and we would have had an opportunity to win that game at least. So, Clutterbuck, Brock Nelson, Fedor Teutin scored for us. Calvin DeHaan, Travis Hamonic, Ryan Johansson, and Anisimov and Strome. So Johansson and Strome were the only people in this series who'd even scored a goal yet. So looks like we got a really balanced production from our lines in the playoffs. So we'll see what the totals were. I don't think that Nick Foligno had a goal, or I didn't even see him have a point. So I don't know what happened there. Not like he's injured or anything, so that's not. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That's regular season. We'll go back to the playoffs. This episode's been kind of quiet, so sorry about that. So we allowed 3 more goals than we scored, so that's definitely not good. But power play was decent. We capitalized 4th best, and that's really weird that Edmonton's scoring that much. Weird that Boston's scoring that much. Holy hell. Penalty kill was 11th in the entire playoffs. That's not very good. So, yeah, and we didn't even win a game at home. So, I didn't even mean to look at that part. I just wanted to look at the player stats, but whatever. That was worth it. Or not worth it. That was okay. I'm not really into it right now, as you can tell. Just kind of got to get an episode done so I have something. Johansson, Letestu, Hartnell all had point per game. Broussard had 4. Anisimov had 3, Foligno had 3 assists. He didn't have a goal. Okay, so Terrell had 2. Yager only had 2 on that top line. Kind of disappointed, but Jack Johnson had 2 assists, solid. Who did really bad? No one. It was 3 defensemen, but they're all... Connaughton's on the third pairing, so is Roosevelt. And, Savard is not very good, so... I don't see a whole lot changing in this offseason, really. Shouldn't be a lot to look forward to. We're just really probably going to do the draft, maybe pick up a couple free agents, try and move a couple bad contracts. And it's still weird that I'm actually even able to discuss this. So, our offseason is really going to depend on if Yager retires, probably just going to try and trade all these bad contracts, wait a year, and then try and contend after that. But we have a decent base, I think. So yeah, I'd trade Hartnell. If we were going to be bad, I'd trade Broussard probably too. But I'd trade Teuton. That's probably about it. I might trade Clarkson or Atkinson. Not Clarkson. I might trade Atkinson depending on how bad he ends up being because he's making $3.5 million. Anisimov would probably go in a rebuild. Well, not a rebuild, but like a reload. Jared Bowles, another player that I think has to go because of that salary. And Savard's, he's on the cutting block. I don't really think he's going to turn into anything, and I think that he can be used as a valuable trade asset to maybe get a top 5 pick, especially considering that we're going to go after like Noah Hannafin, or Mark Letestu. He's going to stay around. He might even vie for alternate captaincy next year. He had a really good season this year, like 50 plus points. Yeah, 53 points, which is easily a career high. Definitely way better than he did last year. Also, the first time scoring 20 goals in his career. So, after that, it's just depth guys. Hopefully, Calvert jumps up a little bit. Moon Jenner, Skill, Falk, Connaughton, Terrell. All these are depth guys. And in the minors, I feel like Kirby Reichel's going to definitely vie for a spot next season on our roster. We'll see how things go. Marco Dano could make a jump even. And Bjorkstrand's first year in the NHL is going to be pretty sweet. So, oh yeah, and I'm looking forward to William Carlson and Alexander Winberg's development to see how that goes. So this offseason is really not going to be about making major moves probably outside of the one draft. It's just going to be about moving bad contracts and kind of retooling, getting future assets. Deciding Bobrovsky's future because he's going to cap out at 96 or 90. If he regresses, we might have to trade this contract because he didn't have a good season this year. He had a good season, I think, the couple years before that. I know he's won a Vezina in his career too, but still. Yeah, he won it this year, I think. It was the lockout year, was it? Maybe? Yeah, this year he was really good. This year he was just as good, but it's just the year that we've had him, he was not. So we'll see how things go. It might just be a fluke year, but I don't know. It's a lot of decisions to be made. So I'm going to go now and do the off-season pre-planning. So I'll see you guys in the next episode for the actual off-season.